Welcome to the Concrete Genius Podcast. I'm your host, Sauce MacKenzie. Another illustrious podcast for me. This will be a snippet. Got moves to make. Got some interviews coming this weekend. First of all, thank you for joining me, my loyal listeners. I sincerely appreciate you. Your presence is a blessing for me. I don't take none of y'all for granted, whoever you are. You know, it just goes to say, like, man, sometimes I be thinking, like, man, broadcasting my life. I really got people listening to my life. That's amazing in itself. It's a sleepy Wednesday. Sleepy Wednesday. Got a lot accomplished today. Went to the foot doctor. Had a painful callus. I was just like, damn, I'm getting old. But he said I had a callus that was attached. A sweat gland was attached to my bone. And it was causing me tremendous pain, and then the callus would harden up. I had to use a callus pad. I had to pull the callus off. You know, this is old man health problems. And I had to pull the callus off, and I've been dealing with it for like a year, and I went to other doctors who kind of wasn't probably a skill in their profession, and I kept getting a runaround. And so I would wear the callus pad, pull the callus off, the skin be hurting. It stopped hurting once I pulled the dead skin off. But I still had a little painful pinpoint callus in there. And sometimes that mug will kick in the wrong times. You be trying to play it off and walk hard, you know, stand up straight, upright, and the callus be whooping your ass, bro. It's like somebody got a cigarette lighter at the bottom of your foot. That shit be hurting, you know what I'm saying? And I just dealt with it. Just kept callus pads. Everybody knows I travel a lot. Whenever I got on the road, I would just take the callus pad with me, just have it, put it on my foot. But it was just causing me some tremendous pain. I went in there today, had a little procedure. He took like a scalpel, cut that mug off. I felt like I could triple jump. I also had something, because I'm flat-footed, I had something called Taylor's bunions. You know, guess it's like you've been on your feet a lot. So basically I'm flat-footed. And so like the sides of my foot get a lot of pressure. So listen to this if you're a man, because it might help you. I'm flat-footed. So this bone right here that comes out on my foot, it was getting a lot of pressure. I got some specially made insoles, get my foot to arch, take that strain off the pressure. I'm telling you, I feel like I could participate in the Olympics. It's really good. Like, it's real good. And I thank my doctor. You know, he was so shy. He like, man, you're in great shape. And I'm looking at your charts, your medical charts, you work out? I said, yeah, I work out. He like, your foot be hurting? Like, some days, like, crazy. He like, can you run? I'm like, nah, it's hard to run for a long time. That's why I do the Stairmaster. And he was like, man, you're a tough dude, because most people, when they had this kind of situation with their foot, they just give up on activities. And I'm like, nah, doc, I gotta look good, feel good, play good. I strongly recommend to go see a podiatrist. If you got health insurance, go see a podiatrist. Man, I'm telling you, like, he'll tell you things about your feet and your toes that you could have never imagined. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just basically gave me a lot more freedom to be more active. And, you know, I'm 50 years old, so the ability to be active is a blessing. I also did a colonoscopy. I ain't do the full colonoscopy where they had to take the colonic and clean you out, because I ain't at risk for that. But I did do something called, like, and this is a health awareness tip for my older brothers, but it's called a colon guard, where you take a poop, they send you a kit, you take a poop, you put the poop in the kit, they give you some solution, you pour on your poop, you seal it up real tight in this thing like a time capsule. You put a sticker with your name on it, you mail it back to them. So you check your feces for colon cancer. You know, so that way you don't have to do nothing too evasive if you don't get no warning signs. You know, I get my labs. I see my doctor once a year, every year, whether there's been times I was insured or not. physical ain't, but physical is the price of a pair of retro Jordans. So I advise all people, especially men, black men, but men of all races, go get a physical. It's mandatory and it can save your life. Me, I have a strong desire to live into my 90s. I like to try to crack 100 if possible. If I can move well, I easily try to live to 100. I think I could pull it off, look good, eat right. I already started my vegetarian vegan journey, / combo both. So I think I could do that. I exercise regularly. I walk in my regimens. I don't really have a lot of vices. I drink bourbon like 2-3 times a month. I smoke maybe 2 cigars a month. So I do think that I could pull it off to try to live 100. But getting your colon check is very important. Getting your lab work is very important. Having somebody that you can talk to. If you don't, luckily I haven't had a therapist, but I got nephews that I share a lot of things. They are fathers, husbands. I talk to them a lot. I do vent a lot about what's on my mind to prevent from having anxiety. Got one of my older homeboys I talked to at work. He said he described what he was feeling to his doctor, and his doctor was like, he suffered from anxiety. And he was like, man, I didn't know black men suffer from anxiety. Well, black people, we don't like having stigmas that involve our mental health. And I'm not going Charlemagne the God. That's his lane. That's not my lane. But we don't like having stigmas that involve our mental health. We don't like being labeled as crazy or having anxiety or schizophrenic, none of that. But if you worry about things, you constantly worry about things. You consume with worry, then that's kind of what anxiety is. Especially if you're a big, strong guy, you never been scared of nothing, never been worried about nothing, and it really affects dudes in their 40s. You get to your 40s, 50s, you get like young adult kids, teenagers, that fear of what's going to happen to your child, what's going on with your child. That's a powerful fear. When they're younger, you still have that fear, but you're protecting them more. They're not driving. They kind of in your care. If they do go over somebody's house, it's usually somebody you trust. They're usually with you, in an effort to build on family time. So you may not have the nerves, but like when your kids become teenagers and they start dating, and your son date a girl, and the girl, they go through some things. Your son driving a car, he go to a party. Your son go off to college and maybe something happens and his college experience ain't everything you wanted, or it ain't even fair to him. In those moments, as an adult, you can develop some type of anxiety. You can develop some type of nervousness. And so you need somebody to talk to. Too many times we, as men, we try to deal with too many things on our own. We carry so much burden on our own. We chase perfection. We chase the illusion of superiority, of saying that I don't need nobody. I'm here. And then you build up to this wall, and you snap. And that's why a lot of men snap. I've had a situation where I snapped, where I was just minding my business, and somebody just kept talking to me, and I didn't snap where I put my hands on them, but I did snap where I said some nasty things. So everybody has a breaking point. No matter who it is, everybody has a breaking point. So you really got to be careful about what you say about people, what you say about people's kids, what you say about people's lives, because a lot of people have a breaking point that you may not even be able to conceive. I think if I do have some form of anxiety, it comes from knowing what I survived, but also knowing, I think anxiety came from me sometimes when I started realizing maybe adults who didn't like me would take that dislike out for me out on my son. So coming from where I come from with a military mind, a dude who grew up strategically fighting, street shit, neighborhood gangbanging, having to fight for every time you went on a new street, you had to fight, you had to defend yourself. I grew up in a situation where you constantly proving you ain't nobody's bitch. You know what I mean? And that develops a level of toughness, fearlessness, coldness, callousness that no teenager should have to go through. And that's where I was. So even to the point where that determination to be feared or respected, that even encompassed everything I put in I was respectful to my parents, but these streets was gonna respect me or they was gonna take me out. Like I wasn't gonna fold. And that mindset, like when somebody doing something to your child, you think like, honestly, man, like, what do I do? Because it's a squares world. Once you get out the street, you got to understand it's a squares world. Now, you can survive in it. You can look good. You can drive nice cars. You can wear the nice jewelry. You can have the nicest cribs. But squares got a lot of juice. So you got to navigate through the ocean of minutia to get to where you deal with people who stand up guys. And it ain't a lot of stand up guys once you leave the streets. Excuse me. Once you lead a life, it's probably 20% stand-up guys. It's not a lot. So getting back to my original point, it brought me anxiety when I was like, damn, nigga really trying to play my dude because they don't like me. Ah, yeah. And when I was a teenager, I'm finna break his legs, break his jaw. I'm finna pop him. Like, that was my mentality growing up. But of course, you get your 30s, you get to your 40s, you realize that, like, your biggest value is being on the streets. Your biggest value is maintaining your freedom and protecting your home, protecting your household. So you have to find ways to survive without retaliation. Retaliation, especially violent retaliation, is a tactic that's forced upon you when you poor and you dealing with traumas. You think every time you get disrespected, you got to handle it with violent retaliation. And that's not the case all the time. Now, a threat towards you or your family, of course, should be handled with whatever violence is necessary to handle it. But disrespect, just avoid it. Sometimes when people do you wrong, you got to be the bigger person and take the higher road. And me knowing that with my past is easy because, a lot of people say, man, I really don't, I stay in the house a lot, or I travel a lot and go out of town. I party out of town a lot to protect myself. I know my temper. I know how I react to things. I know how I handle things. And I've also been in hopeless situations. See, a lot of dudes is out here woofing and want to be tough and starting just malicious shit and getting drunk and acting ignorant. It's two things. For one, they really probably ain't got nothing to live for. They ain't dealt with something. And then two, they don't know what it's really feeling like to be behind that glass. You ask any man, 90% of the man that's in prison right now doing a bid, if they could find a way to not do their crime, I bet you 90% of them would be like, yeah, I wouldn't do that shit. You go ask any man serving 55 years for murder, would he have done that shit? No. But that's a hard concept to understand if you ain't already been there. Because that fear of being looked at as not macho is stronger than being rational and saying, damn, I can't go to prison. Who gonna protect my nieces? Who gonna protect my cousins? Who gonna protect my girl? Who gonna protect my mama? That right there is really what you should be thinking about. So if you ever do get in a situation where you get caught up, you catch a charge, and you get a second chance at life, most rational men are thinking prevent defense. See, me, when I go out, I ain't worrying about, I don't think I've been scared of a person. I'm trying to think the last person I probably was scared of. I had to be about 8th grade maybe. And he was grown, like he was like 16, 17. I think it was a dude. I didn't want to fight. I was like a freshman. He was a senior. I was a little nervous. I didn't have to fight him. But as far as just like being scared, nah. But what I have been scared of is what I would do. And that fear is 10 times stronger than being scared of another man. The fear of like what you would do if somebody fuck with you, that's malicious. So I use this to say to all men, 1, check on your health, physical health. Go see the doctor, get your labs done, get your eyes checked, get your teeth checked, eat right, drink more water, eat less red meat, eat less fried food, eat less processed foods, eat less fast foods, all right? The food is killing you. It's killing us as a people. Number 2, avoid ignorant situations. Avoid ignorant places. Avoid ignorant people. Ignorant people put you in situations where you may risk your freedom or your life. The only things you should be risking your freedom or your life for is your family. That's it. That's it. Like, even if somebody say some of the most disrespectful shit to you, they ain't said to your family, they ain't said, yeah, you a man. Sometimes you gotta knuckle up and put them beaters on somebody, you think. But what if I put them beaters on and he hit his head on concrete, he died? Now I gotta do 6 years for manslaughter. You know what I mean? Relatives or friends I might have that could pass within 6 years. You don't want to do that. So true growth, true enlightenment comes from being able to stand up for yourself, be firm in what you want to do, but also avoid letting people trick you out your position. You driving a nice car, your girl up there probably on TikTok or something, or watching HGTV. She looking good. You got a nice queen king size bed. The kids is fed, plenty of toys. You got a lot to live for. It's a nigga that would kill for your life that's gonna say something stupid to you. And you gotta ignore him. And it might happen tonight, it might happen tomorrow. You gotta ignore him. You can't let them push you there because you got enough to worry about. You got your kids to worry about. You got your parents, if you're blessed to have them, to worry about. You got life to worry about. You got your family. You got bills. Who's going to hold it down if you're not here to be a man and function in society? You know, we got to stop letting them trick black men to the grave and to the penitentiary. And that's the trick. You know, and that's part of my reason. I hate to say this, but like that's just part of my reason for wanting to leave Indiana. I just feel like it's a sense of hopelessness here. It's a black cloud over the state. I think people have small minds. The people that have the small minds, their minds are so small, they don't really know nothing, see nothing. It's just constant violence. You know, constant frustrations and jealousy and stupidity. Like, I want to be somewhere when people go outside to have a good time. That's it. Like, that's all I want to do. Have a good time. Don't worry about nobody else. But I want to be able to get as fly as I want to be, drive when I want to drive without nobody kind of in my business. You know, I wanted to be some Rolls Royces so that way if I slide in a Lambo or something, ain't nobody tripping. You know what I mean? And I don't know, it's just wearing on me. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's time for a change. I've been looking at some places to buy some property, like Vegas, Scottsdale, Texas. And a move gonna be made, even if it's just 6 months here, 6 months there. But trust me, a move gonna be made, you know? It's just time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then another thing about Ann is like, they're gonna always try to put you in a box. You know what I'm saying? Like, for some reason, a lot of people look at me and think I got it all because I'm handsome, I got a beautiful smile, I dress nice, I smell good. I even look like I smell good. I ride clean. A lot of people probably think I got it all, but that doesn't give you the right to limit what I can have. And that's my biggest problem with these people. And then when they can't limit what I can have, they try to limit the abundance that my family can have. And now you asking for war. And war is what I want to avoid. You know what I'm saying? Because war for me it's not nothing like what people conceive to believe it to be. You know what I'm saying? It's terrorizing. It's bad dreams and bad thoughts and once you go down that slippery slope, you there. And I come from a lineage of males that once they go down that slope, you go low, they go to hell. You know what I'm saying? So you just want to get away from all that. Like you think to yourself, I'm 50 years old, man. You start writing down all the things you done survived and all the things you've been blessed to have and get through. And you say like, damn, I don't want to deal with another cold ass winter. I want to deal with some stupidity. And you know what makes you want to deal with that sometimes is I got beautiful family here. I got a lovely home, immaculate home. And I love giving back to the youth. I work at a middle school right now, and I love the joy that I can bring to them kids. So that's my dilemma. Part of me wants to stay for them, but then part of me wants to go for me. So, I'm going to give it one more year. Once the school year is done, I'm going to recharge, think about it, and then I'm going to go from there. And just got to pray on it. I need y'all to stay with me because it's rough out here. You know what I mean? And I appreciate y'all listening to this. It's not easy being me. It's not easy having this podcast, this platform. I've had some great interviews. ContendersClothing.com. Use the code BigSauce20 for all your gear. You can check out our store. Our store is back open. I got some very dope creations on the store. Things you may want to get, things you may want to buy. Really dope. And I'm here. And before I go, I want to touch on this Young Jeezy, Nia Long situation. If y'all ain't hip, he did an interview with Nia Long. He did a lot of what dudes call dirty macking. I didn't really like it. Let me pull it up. I thought, to me, real niggas don't do shit like this. I thought he could be a little more realer with the shit, Keep it 100. Let's check out some of this interview.
Call out a name or you.
I guess we on the Breakfast Club. This is where the tea spills, right?
Right.
Gustin Sukiana and Cameron was.
Well, let's unpack this.
Cam is hilarious,
Let's unpack
man.
this. Cam is a rapper.
No, I don't want to hear
Rihanna
about that.
probably wanted his opinion on her music.
Happens when a man gets to the point where they're just like, okay, I'm filing for divorce.
This divorce and also their love, life, legacy, and also their relationships. Jeezy talked about his divorce and what got him to that point.
What happens when a man gets to the point where they're just like, okay, I'm filing for divorce?
Integrity intact. I could never say anything that would not honor somebody.
Absolutely.
But I can tell you that this has not been an easy journey. I can tell you that I'm saddened. I can tell you that I'm disappointed. I can tell you that I'm uneasy. But again, God has put me in a different path. And that path is going to entail for me to take care of myself, and I can only do what I can do, right? And I can't expect someone else to do what I'm doing.
But did you go to therapy with her?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So you actually addressed it, tried to work through it, tried to do the work, and it just was like not happening. Well, then.
Okay, that wasn't really the clip I wanted to show, but I don't have time to find a clip I'm looking for. What I really wanted to show y'all, he said something where, to the effect of like, just kind of like basically slandering Ime Udoka. You know, I can't believe he did that to you. Like, come on, man. Like, of course I know it's Nia Long, bro. Everybody want to shoot their shot with Nia Long. Cool. But don't ever, ever, man. That's smacking 101, bro. Don't never bring up another man when you talk to a woman. Even if that's her ex, especially if that's her ex, man. Keep that man's name out your mouth. You know, I just don't agree with using snake tactics to get a woman. I feel like if you get a woman, it should be on your own merits. It should be on your own valor. I don't think Jeezy's a bad guy. I just think it came out wrong. It's just some shit, you know, real players, they don't do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what you got to do, cool, but you don't be like, man, real niggas don't cheat. Come on, man. So you saying that man ain't a real nigga because he had a situation with his lady? You know what I'm saying? What if somebody said real niggas don't marry non-black women? How would that make you feel? You know what I'm saying? Or you can't put that man in that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, crack some jokes, say whatever, but you sit here talking to that man, ex-wife or whatever, and you shooting your shot and it's getting muddy. I don't agree with that, B. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I'm just about different principles and morals. I don't agree with it. I'm going to get the interview next time. When I get it, y'all can put it up. I got some NBA to watch. I really wanted y'all to appreciate the therapeutic side of this. God is good, man. ConcreteGeniusMedia.com. We focused on the future, but you can't get to the future if you don't take care of yourself in the present. All my soldiers, take care of yourself. Treat yourself. Get you a pedicure. Make sure you got the best stuff for your skin, your face. Take you a walk, man. Walk you 10, 12 miles a week. Do you some push-ups. Care about yourself. Care about your life. Because you no good to nobody if you get burnt out. And we always put everything first but ourselves. So I'm challenging you to focus on yourself without neglecting nobody, but put more energy into yourself and your well-being. This is Sauce MacKenzie signing off, man. ConcreteGeniusMedia.com. I appreciate y'all. Peace. Oh, shit. Love y'all, man. Peaceful.